Hi everyone, before watching the video, please give me a like and subscribe. Thank you very much. I've transmigrated into a weak, useless husband in a contract marriage novel. My wife, Luna, placed a divorce agreement in front of me. Divorce me. I'll give you 10 million. Julian is coming back soon. According to the original plot, I would be devastated, unable to bear the thought of leaving Luna. CEO Luna, I can sign the agreement, but you must agree to one condition. Luna scoffed and shrugged off her silk robe, seemingly trying to provoke me. Want to spend one last night with me? You're not worthy. She tossed her robe into my face. A wave of sweet, intoxicating fragrance overwhelmed me. I swear, my heart started pounding like crazy. Oh, Luna, we are in the same room. Do you really dare to tempt me like this? I composed myself. In reality, I didn't dare do anything reckless. If she screamed just once, security would burst in. This isn't some mindless, logic-defying novel. I threw the robe onto the floor and stepped on it, as if insulting the arrogant female CEO. Luna curled her lip in contempt. Sign it. Don't waste my time. The Ice Queen CEO of the business world was surprisingly crude in front of me at home. I was her contract husband, but I was also her lapdog. Why would she care about a dog's dignity? Fortunately, while Luna was arrogant and bossy, she had never truly humiliated me with anything extreme. No physical abuse or forcing me to role-play as her white moonlight first love. Her basic character was still intact. During these 3 years of living together, she had become increasingly casual about ordering me around, washing her lingerie, giving her massages, helping her with her bath. But I could only look, I could never touch. It's a tragedy I haven't turned into a eunuch after 3 years. Luckily, I have transmigrated. I won't be that weak anymore. I picked up the pen. The terms of the agreement were etched in my memory. 10 million in cash, 1 villa, 2 luxury cars, and 2 commercial properties. The original owner didn't sign because he loved her, but I don't love her at all. Besides, with a settlement like this, I'd sign even if it killed me. I quickly signed my name, Silas, and pressed my thumbprint onto the paper. Perfect. Luna let out a soft laugh, a flicker of appreciation crossing her eyes. Silas, you're not bad. Speak. What is your condition? Anything except my body. Luna was still a virgin. Her upbringing and character made her strictly adhere to her principles when it came to love. But I was about to shatter what she believed love to be. The papers were signed. We were divorced. I no longer had to bow and scrape to please her. I pulled out my phone. I'm giving you a gift. Promise me you'll watch it until the very end. Luna was like an ancient emperor, a woman of her word. She valued integrity above all else. She nodded. I'll give you 10 minutes. I called Luna's assistant. Assistant Reed, the CEO requires you to send me the contact information for the sanitation workers. You have 1 minute. Luna's expression darkened. What are you planning? The so-called sanitation workers were the hounds kept by the elite to handle matters outside the law. If I dared to harm Luna, those hounds would tear me into 100 pieces. I said nothing and waited. Very quickly, a phone number was sent to my device. Simultaneously, Luna's phone rang. It was Assistant Reed. She answered, simply said, I know, and hung up. The number belonged to someone in Seaside City. I dialed and put it on speaker. The person on the other end seemed to know who I was. Master Silas, please give your orders. I wasn't surprised. On paper, I was still Luna's husband. 1 million. I want every scrap of information on Julian's life abroad. Focus specifically on his interactions with his personal bodyguards. The man on the line hesitated for a long time. Is CEO Luna there? Luna spoke up coldly. 2 million. Do as he says. 10 minutes later, I hung up the phone. Luna sneered at me. After today, you'll never have the right to call that number again. Do you really think I haven't investigated Julian? He worked tirelessly in the States, earned his master's from Columbia, and is a renowned investor in Silicon Valley. Most importantly, he has remained chaste for 3 years, just as I have. Hearing her use the words remain chaste, I couldn't hold it back anymore. I burst into laughter, setting aside the fact that I'd bathed her regularly and seen everything. Let's talk about Julian. Was he really that pure? Others might not know, but how could I not? I'm the one who read the book. 10 minutes passed quickly, Luna. Wait for Act 2. After saying that, I rushed into the bathroom and grabbed the basin I usually use to soak her feet. Are you taking that to soak my feet? Why didn't you bring water? I shot her a glare. We're divorced. Only a dog would serve you like that now. I brought this because I'm afraid you're going to vomit in a moment. Luna clearly understood the implication and let out a cold laugh. 100,000, one last time. I complied. 10 minutes flew by. Her feet were finished soaking, and the phone rang. I was currently massaging her feet. I couldn't refuse. She had just tossed out another 50,000. At that price, some people would have used their tongues. Actually, this kind of life wasn't too bad, but it's a pity Luna wanted a divorce, and I certainly didn't want to be a cuckold. The voice from the phone crackled through. Master Silas, what a coincidence. You're a godsend. Do you want a recorded video or a live stream? I naturally wanted the latter, but I didn't want to waste any more of my own money. Luna had plenty. She threw money around like pocket change. Another 1 million, she commanded. The voice on the other end immediately turned reverent. I'll send the link to Master Silas right away. In no time, someone added me on WeChat. After I accepted, the video call connected. One glance was enough to make me want to vomit. Luna wanted to see, but I instinctively flipped the phone over. Damn it, it seems my body still cares about her. No, Luna, this live video is disgusting. Watching this will haunt you for the rest of your life. Moo! Luna hated my stalling and snatched the phone away. She stared at the live feed, frozen. In the U.S., it was still daylight. Inside a dimly lit room, on a large bed, were a white man and a black man in a very peculiar position. Because the live video was being filmed surreptitiously, as if the camera were peeked through a window, the glass made the image slightly blurry. But anyone familiar with that pale body would recognize it. Luna, of course, couldn't fail to recognize her white moonlight first love. She knew it was him instantly. She gripped the phone so hard I could hear the casing creaking as if it were about to explode. But why was she still watching? She just kept staring. Don't tell me she's into this? Good God, she's more perverted than I thought. I instinctively wanted to flee from Seaside City, but before leaving, I had to twist the knife just a bit to get my own back. Haha, Luna, there's your true love. There's your chaste soulmate. Haha, you only investigated the women around him. Why didn't you look into the man? Luna, your white moonlight doesn't have a girlfriend, but he sure has a black boyfriend. Surprised? Thrilled. I mocked her for 3 full minutes, but she didn't react. She remained in that exact same position. It wasn't until her soul seemed to return to her body that she finally spoke in a voice so raspy it sounded like she'd been run over by a truck. No, Silas, help me. Only then did I realize she had been scared witless. So terrified, she had lost control of her limbs. I wanted to laugh, but I didn't dare. I had to use force to pry her fingers off the phone. Her nerves and muscles had locked up from the sheer shock. I massaged her hands for a while until I could retrieve the phone. I shut off the live stream, but not before saving a clip, uploading it to the cloud, and sending it to my burner account to erase the tracks. Finally, I helped Luna onto the bed and continued to massage her body. This would likely be the last time in my life I'd ever touched this soft, fragrant body. It was a pity. That live stream had clearly dealt a devastating blow to her psyche. She might become a monster who hates everyone, regardless of gender, or she might become a celibate recluse for the rest of her days. But I didn't regret it. Luna had mocked my love, so I destroyed hers. Yes, now we're even. As soon as Luna's body recovered its function, she sat up and retched. It was a direct hit, right onto me. I didn't even have time to react before I was covered from head to toe in vomit. Nice aim, Luna. God damn it. I stared at the woman in front of me, stunned. Was she crying? This was Luna, the haughty, cold-blooded CEO who controlled the livelihoods of hundreds of thousands, and she was crying. I stayed silent. I quietly began to clean up, turn on the hot water, stripped her clothes off, and carried her into the bathtub. While she soaked, I showered under the nozzle right in front of her. This was the first time I had ever been naked before her eyes. I expected her to vomit again at the sight of a man's body, but instead, she seemed petrified. Her lifeless eyes followed me, watching me wash, appraising my physique. After my shower, I put on a fresh robe and busied myself cleaning the room before giving Luna a proper bath, a routine I knew all too well. This EO often had to socialize at banquets. She'd come home vomiting or losing control of her functions. I had witnessed her at her most pathetic states many times. I was used to it. In this regard, I was a step ahead of those contract husbands who don't even get to touch a hand in 3 years. But honestly, even if she's a goddess, What she throws up is still foul, filthy, and disgusting. Tell me, in a situation like this, who would have the heart for wicked thoughts? While I was getting her clean, she vomited 3 more times until she was throwing up yellow bile. She was likely thinking of Julian again. By the time I finished cleaning, she had fallen asleep. I carried her to her secondary bedroom and looked at her for a long time. One last time. This would likely be our final meeting. Without a word or goodbye, I drifted out of her room like a breeze. I hauled 2 suitcases containing the wealth I had accumulated over 3 years. Gifts from Luna, high-end suits, watches, cufflinks, leather shoes, and so on. As for the cash and real estate, Luna wouldn't break her word. Assistant Reed would surely contact me tomorrow. I headed to a small apartment, 3 bedrooms, 2 living areas, located 20 kilometers away from her villa. It was bought with the savings I'd scraped together over 3 years. Luna knew about it, but I also knew that with her pride, she would never come looking for me there. Logically, I should have taken the money and run far away. But thinking it through, wandering into a strange city with that much cash felt like walking into a trap. I'd rather stay in Seaside City, rely on a lingering shadow of Luna's influence to live cautiously, and wait a few years. When a Luna group eventually collapses as the plot dictates, it won't be too late to run then. I slept soundly and woke up at 10 a.m. the next morning. Life, without having to serve Luna, felt incredibly liberating. I checked my phone. There were dozens of missed calls and messages from Serafina, Luna's best friend. Luna herself hadn't called once. Typical. She really is heartless. It turns out those trashy novels about the CEO regrets and chases her husband back are all lies. A woman as arrogant as Luna would rather die than bow her head. Fine, I won't bow mine either. I turned my phone back off, planning to wait 30 days before going straight to the Civil Affairs Bureau to finalize the divorce. But as the saying goes, the tree wants to stay still, but the wind won't stop blowing. Serafina showed up at my door. "Silas, you useless piece of trash. What did you do to Luna?" Seeing her, I let out a long sigh. The person I used to fear most wasn't Luna, but this woman standing before me, Serafina. Don't let her petite, cute appearance fool you. She's a wild, aggressive force of nature, no different from a prehistoric predator. If anyone else called me useless, I'd be furious, but when she says it, I just have to take it. A year into my marriage, Serafina intentionally got Luna drunk and threw her onto my bed. I only dared to hold the beauty while we slept. Literally just held her, nothing else. From then on, Serafina was convinced I was a lost cause and stopped trying to play matchmaker for us. "Silas, what the hell did you do to Luna? Why does she vomit the moment she hears Julian on the phone? Why does she retch at the mere mention of his name? And why does she not vomit when she hears your name, but instead wants to bite you to death?" 3 rapid-fire questions, and I had no idea how to answer. Serafina is undoubtedly the best friend I've ever seen. Her loyalty to Luna is genuine. All the best friends in those short films combined couldn't hold a candle to her. Later in the original story, when Luna goes bankrupt, it's Serafina who supports her and helps her rebuild. They're the kind of friends who stay together for a lifetime. But if I showed her the video and told the truth, would she hate Luna? Would she feel tainted herself? Seriously, the scene of Julian's activities was beyond revolting. Talk. If you don't start talking, I'm getting physical. Seeing Serafina about to strike, I reflexively raised my arms to defend myself. It was almost comical. Her fist, small as bean buns, finally rained down on me like a hailstorm. It stung a bit. 5 minutes later, panting, she tossed a card at me. 100,000. That's for 9 more rounds. Consider it 10,000 per beating. Now talk. What did you do? Did you pour fish sauce in her mouth or do something even filthier? I thought for a moment and decided to be honest. I didn't want any more entanglements with these rich people. Serafina, last night, I showed Luna a live stream of Julian. After that, she vomited. Repeatedly. As I spoke, I noticed 2 small figurines in my display cabinet. I took them out and demonstrated that classic position for her, 1 white, 1 black. You get it now? Everyone knows women have vivid imaginations, and once they start, it's terrifying. The scenes they conjure in their heads are often grimmer than reality. I don't know exactly what Serafina pictured, but she clutched her mouth and bolted for the bathroom, retching for a long time. Yet another victim. Serafina, eventually dragged me to the hospital. Luna is a person of pure character with a psychological obsession with cleanliness. Julian knew this, which is why he never dared to mess around with other women abroad and rejected all female advances. Because of that, Luna truly believed her white moonlight was staying chaste for her. Who would have guessed? He didn't have a girlfriend, but he had a black bodyguard, penetrating his life. That live stream from last night is Luna's lifelong nightmare. The mere thought of it triggers a gag reflex. So, she fell ill, unable to eat, vomiting everything back up, and running a fever, forcing her into the hospital. The moment I entered the room, I saw Luna looking like a broken doll. My heart stung for a split second, but I immediately hardened my resolve and let out a cold laugh. What's making you so sad? Tell me the story, so I can enjoy myself a little. Luna was too lethargic to even acknowledge me, or perhaps she simply didn't have the strength left to argue. Serafina, standing behind me, was not pleased. She reached out, grabbed my arm, and gave a sharp twist. I told you to come here to comfort Luna, and you dare to mock her? Give me my money back. I smirked. To ask for my money is to ask for my life. She has a psychological trauma. How am I supposed to fix that? Should I go fetch Julian for her? The moment Luna heard the name Julian, she reflexively retched again. Since she hadn't eaten all day, she only brought up a bit of clear fluid. Silas, just go, she rasped. And remember, never mention those 2 words in front of me again. If you do, I'll hand you over to the sanitation workers. I felt truly wronged. What did I even do? I warned her before she watched that stream. Does she really want to destroy me over this? Serafina sighed beside me. Luna hasn't eaten all day. There's a small kitchenette in this suite. Go make her something she likes. This was a high-end VIP room belonging to the Luna family, equipped with amenities that rivaled a presidential suite. I called the butler, and 10 minutes later, the ingredients were delivered. I made crab porridge. I added fish roe, and to eliminate any fishy scent, I boiled the roe and meticulously peeled off the outer membrane by hand. Serafina watched me from the side and sighed. Luna clearly knows how good you are to her, but she just doesn't cherish it. She's too proud. Even if she regrets it, she won't bow her head. Without me, you two would have crashed and burned long ago. Don't worry, I'll help you out. In truth, I no longer had a burning desire to be with Luna. The gap in our status was simply too vast. It made me feel inferior and hypersensitive. There was no sense of security in this marriage. Today, it was the white moonlight, but tomorrow, who's to say it wouldn't be a male assistant or some brainless younger student from a trashy novel trope? The 4 horsemen of a female CEO's life. The white moonlight, the male assistant, the younger student, and the sworn younger brother. Plus 1 useless husband. Luna already had the first one, and I am not a useless man. At the very least, I won't let myself be cuckolded. It's done. Once the porridge cooled slightly, I personally brought it to Luna. The woman's expression remained vacant until she caught the scent of the crab porridge. Only then did she seem to wake up. Thank you. Then, out of habit, she opened her mouth, waiting for me to feed her. Typical rich person behavior, always the boss. I didn't feel like arguing with a sick person, so I fed her spoonful by spoonful. After finishing 2 large bowls, Luna finally began to show the first signs of recovery. I stood up to take my leave. 10 a.m., 30 days from now. I'll be waiting for you at the Civil Affairs Bureau. Oh, and one more thing. Luna, a storm is coming. Is the Luna Group prepared? That secret buried for 5 years at the Azure District Plot Number 2. Can you still keep it hidden? Without waiting for either of them to react, I pushed the door open and walked away with unusual decisiveness. I was intimately familiar with the plot progression. Originally, I had no intention of interfering with Luna's bankruptcy, but right now, she and I were still legally tied together. I hadn't obtained the divorce certificate yet, and that $10 million settlement, plus the real estate, hadn't hit my account. According to the original story, Julian arrives in Seaside City tonight, and the day after tomorrow, he starts targeting me. The Julian family is a wealthy clan in this city, so I still needed Luna's protection for a while. After I left, my parting words left Luna in a state of utter shock. The secret of that land plot was known only to a few top executives at Luna Group. How did Silas find out? What was his point? Was someone planning to use that secret to destroy the company? As Luna gradually regained her composure, she realized that destroying a giant like Luna Group would take more than just one secret. Over years of expansion, the company inevitably had some skeletons in a closet. Both she and her father had tried to clean things up during their respective tenures, but once a mistake is made, traces remain. It wouldn't hold up under a rigorous investigation. Serafina, I need to get discharged. Silas was right. A storm is coming. Serafina didn't know the secret of Azure District Plot Number 2, and she didn't ask. But seeing Luna's urgency, she understood that someone was gunning for the Luna Group. The easiest way to bring down a fortress is always from within, and Luna was the most vulnerable target. Over the years, many men had tried to approach Luna through various means, both overt and covert. What they didn't realize was that the elite have their own ways of dealing with them, especially those saving the damsel in distress tropes. The wealthy are most suspicious of such coincidences. If you play that game, they'll investigate 18 generations of your ancestry. Perhaps only the rich in low-budget short films believe in repaying a life-saving debt with one's body. Serafina wanted to mention that Julian's return was far too convenient, but remembering that Luna couldn't even stand to hear his name, she bit her tongue. Luna, I think you should bring Silas back home. Based on those two things he said and what happened last night, he's no useless man. He truly loves you. A flicker of warmth passed through Luna's cold eyes, though her tone remained aloof. I know he has talent, but I can't bring him back. Or rather, not for now. Only by staying on the outside and distancing himself from the Luna family will he be safe. Serafina was stunned. So, you intentionally divorced him to protect him? Luna froze. That was a convenient excuse, but she disdained lying. Half of it is that. The other half is on me. Before, I truly still had that person in my heart. Looking back now, it was just a lingering attachment to my youth. The saying that intelligent people don't drown in love is true. We always crave what we can't have, while neglecting the one who loves us most right by our side. If Silas wants to leave, let him go. Serafina stamped her foot in frustration. It was so typical of Luna, proud to the very core. Back at the Luna Group, Luna's mind was a turbulent sea. She realized she was sick, psychologically sick. Before starting her workday, the first thing she did was instruct Assistant Reed to book an appointment with a female psychiatrist in Seaside City. Furthermore, from now on, the core security detail must be strictly female. The second and third tiers can remain male. My driver must be replaced with a woman immediately, and men are banned from entering my private office. Also, she paused, her voice turning icy. If that person returns from abroad, he is not permitted to come within 100 meters of me. Assistant Reed's pen flew across his notepad, his mind reeling. What happened to the CEO? It looked like a psychological obsession with cleanliness, but how did it get so severe that she couldn't even tolerate the presence of men? As for who that person was, having served Luna for 5 years, he knew exactly who she meant. He never expected the CEO to refuse a meeting, let alone set a 100-meter exclusion zone. What kind of game is she playing? After making these arrangements, Luna opened the files on her desk, but her thoughts drifted back to what Silas had said. Azure District Plot Number 2 had been developed 5 years ago. Any secrets were now buried under skyscrapers. Who would use that to attack the company? She knew Silas well enough to know he wouldn't lie to her. The storm was indeed coming. At the Seaside City International Airport, Julian stepped off the plane, but his dream woman was nowhere to be found. Something's wrong. He had told Luna yesterday, and she had agreed to pick him up. When he called before boarding, no one answered. He thought she was planning a surprise, but instead, he was met with a cold shoulder. She's really playing with fire. He pulled out his phone. Hello, it's me. Find out where Luna is. Seaside City is vast, but for the elite, it's small. They only eat, play, and gather in a few specific places. Very quickly, Julian's phone rang. What? You're saying Luna is pregnant? Impossible. She told me herself that her husband hasn't even touched her finger. Morning sickness, so severe she's been hospitalized. Julian hung up and smashed his phone in a fit of rage, as if he wanted to crush Luna and her old husband into dust. 8 p.m., Cloud Peak Palace. Today was the 80th birthday of Seaside City's patriarch, Elder Sterling. Julian arrived, knowing that even if he couldn't find Luna's trail elsewhere, she would definitely show up here to pay her respects. I came too. Honestly, I didn't want to. Serafina forced me. She threw down 500,000. I admit it, I got greedy again. By coming here, in the eyes of the public, I had reclaimed my status. The golden son-in-law of the Luna family. Luna tucked her arm into mine, wearing a smile. Dressed in a high-end tuxedo, I looked handsome and elegant. To any outsider, we were the perfect match, the classic Beauty and the Beast turned power couple. In reality, this was a complete performance. I was dissatisfied deep down, but didn't dare show it. I imagine Luna wasn't feeling particularly comfortable either. Pay respects, present the gift, offer blessings. Once the pleasantries were exchanged, my job was technically done. There was a banquet and a ball afterward, but I planned to lay low, grab the party favor, and head home. We're in trouble. Silas. Julian is here. Luna, what do we do? Just as I was hiding in a corner stuffing my face with matcha cake, Serafina found me. She was terrified that Luna would vomit the second she laid eyes on Julian. I shrugged. Hiding forever isn't the answer. Let her vomit. She'll get used to it eventually. Serafina glared at me and dragged me toward Luna. True to her reputation as a powerhouse CEO, Luna was laughing and chatting with a group of female entrepreneurs. With just a few sentences, she was locking down contracts worth hundreds of millions. I could only admire her. I'd love to negotiate a billion-dollar contract with her myself, but she never agrees. Luna hates being interrupted during business negotiations. I'm afraid of her, but Serafina isn't. She squeezed right into the circle and whispered in Luna's ear, "He's here. Should we leave early?" Luna desperately wanted to escape, but she couldn't bring herself to go. She was the head of the Luna Group. Tens of thousands of people relied on her for their livelihoods. Tonight, she had to close a few more deals. It was her responsibility. "Tell Silas not to wander too far from me," Luna whispered back. "If I feel the need to vomit later, I'll do it on him." Serafina, are you even listening to yourself? I hissed when I heard the message. Serafina gave a mysterious smile. She said, "You have unique tastes. Here's a check for 100,000. She knows you won't stay mad." Serafina, you too are a pair of psychos. Julian finally made his entrance. After paying his respects to the host, his eyes immediately locked onto Luna. She was always the brightest star in any crowd. Initially, he intended to walk straight up to her, but seeing her in the middle of a business talk, he stood aside and waited. A smile played on his lips, a mix of 3 parts affection, 5 parts admiration, and 2 parts mockery. It was as if Luna wasn't just his lover, but someone who worked for him. Then, he turned his head and finally saw me. Silas. Julian couldn't hold back anymore. He grabbed a glass of wine and approached me. Silas. I'm Julian. I pretended not to know him, nodding politely but otherwise ignoring him. After all, we had never actually met. At that moment, a few of Julian's friends swarmed around us. They were all trust fund kids who knew exactly what Julian wanted to do. One of them smirked. "Mr. Silas, your cufflinks are a bit wrinkled. Did the maid at home not pay attention?" I let out a faint laugh. Damn, trying to poor shame me? Trying to make things difficult? Young Master Foster, the road back to your hometown is quite bumpy. Be careful not to trip and fall. The scene went dead silent. The one called Foster tried to keep his composure, but ended up shouting, "Nonsense! You dare slander me?" I smiled thinly. Truth doesn't belong to the one who shouts the loudest. A loud voice only proves you've got a guilty conscience. Young Master Foster had failed. If this news leaked out, he wouldn't just lose his reputation. He'd lose everything. The others, seeing the tide turn, hurriedly chased after him, not even bothering to say goodbye to Julian. Julian's face turned ashen. He never expected a single sentence from me to send his entourage running in fear. He stepped closer to me, feigning clumsiness as he accidentally knocked over a glass of wine from a passing guest. "Oh, how embarrassing. Mr. Silas, be a dear and clean this up for me? I simply must go find Luna for a chat." "You wouldn't be so petty as to refuse a small favor, would you?" I offered a bright smile, though internally I wanted to knock his teeth out. He was going after my wife while trying to force me to play janitor. Who did he think he was? His heart was truly malicious. If I knelt to clean it, I'd be acting like a servant in front of the city's entire elite, stripping away my dignity. As the son-in-law of the Luna family, Every move I made represented their brand. I smiled and declined. My apologies, but my wife strained her back during a particularly passionate night a few days ago, and I'm still recovering myself. The guest who had been spilled on didn't leave. The middle-aged man realized we were locked in a verbal duel and stayed to enjoy the show. Hearing my response, he let out a loud laugh, gave me a thumbs up in approval, and then moved along. Julian remained, his face pale with fury. His mind was racing, strained back. Passionate night? What the hell? He couldn't take it anymore and marched toward Luna. Stopping just 3 feet away, he spread his arms wide, preparing for a grand, passionate embrace. "Luna, I'm back." Unexpectedly, the moment Luna saw him, her face turned ghostly white. Seeing him reach out for an embrace, she felt the bile rise. Under normal circumstances, vomiting in public would be a grave insult to the host. Fortunately, I reacted first. I lunged forward, stepping in front of her and producing a small paper bag. Luna was already the centerpiece of the party, so her retching immediately drew everyone's attention. Everyone, there was an adult. What does it mean when a woman vomits suddenly? Everyone knew, and Julian knew too. He stood there like an idiot, staring at Luna as she continued to heave. The phone call from the airport flashed through his mind. Morning sickness, pregnancy. Julian recoiled 2 steps in horror. He had spent 3 years abroad playing the role of the devoted lover, returning with a grand plan to seize both the Luna group and Luna herself. But this woman was pregnant? Why? How? He was so enraged he wanted to slap her, to destroy whatever bastard child was in her womb and kill her contract husband. But he had to endure. He stepped toward her again. "Luna, are you pregnant? It's okay. I don't care." As Julian spoke, he felt his heart bleeding. He hated this. Every guest present looked at him with a mix of sarcasm, contempt, sympathy, and curiosity. This devoted lover act was truly something else. I even had to hand it to Julian. He truly lived up to the white moonlight title Luna had bestowed upon him. The man was incredibly thick-skinned. Serafina stepped forward, shielding Luna. "What the hell are you talking about? Your mother is the one who's pregnant. Open your damn eyes and look closely. Luna is vomiting because the sight of you is nauseating. If you have a shred of dignity left, get lost. Crawl back to wherever you came from." Under the contemptuous, pitying, and curious gazes of the crowd, Julian could only force himself to maintain a shred of composure. "Luna, get some rest. We'll talk another day." Luna was still retching. It looked quite severe. She didn't spare him a single glance. After Julian left, she slowly returned to normal, though a flicker of sorrow crossed her face for a split second. It was surreal. Just 2 days ago, they were sharing intimate conversations over the phone, and now she couldn't even hear his name without gagging, let alone see his face. That live stream was a lifelong trauma. "Silas, you're a heartless man," she rasped. "Are you satisfied now?" I couldn't help a small smirk before turning serious. "You can't put it all on me. Let's just say you two got exactly what you deserved." Luna looked frail. She took a glass of water from Serafina, but just as she was about to drink, she paused. "You didn't drug this, did you?" Serafina rolled her eyes in frustration. Ever since she had tried to set Luna up in my bed, Luna had been hypervigilant about anything her best friend handed her. "Look at yourself. You're a wilted flower. Do I really need to drug you? Look in a mirror. You're a wreck. Silas could take you down in 3 minutes flat." I blinked in shock. Serafina truly was a force to be reckoned with. When she was angry, she was fiercer than a woman in postpartum rage. She'd say anything without a care for anyone's dignity. Luna gave a faint, weary smile, drank the water, and left. A week passed after the birthday party. I hadn't contacted Luna or Serafina. I had all the free time in the world and considered finding a job, but I realized I probably couldn't stomach a boss's temper. More importantly, no boss would ever pay me as much as Luna did. If that's the case, I thought, I'll just work for myself. I decided to dive into short-form video content. Being a transmigrator, the hit songs from my old world didn't exist here. I just had to remix them. I spent a bit of money hiring an arranger and recorded a few tracks. Within days of uploading them, I became a minor internet celebrity. The royalties were surprisingly high. Money was coming in so easily I realized I didn't need to grovel to Luna or Serafina anymore. I was going to use my own money to pay her back. I thought my good life was just beginning, but then one night, I fell asleep and woke up back in Luna's villa. I was on her soft, fragrant bed. It would have been perfect if my limbs weren't shackled. Fine. I'm ashamed to admit I still lingered on the thought of her body. You're awake, Silas. Don't blame me. You brought this on yourself. Luna was wearing my hoodie, sitting astride me. She had nothing on underneath, neither did I. The morning sun was reviving the world, and my body was responding to the call of spring. Why are you so thin? What are you doing? Hearing my instinctive concern, Luna felt a wave of emotion, but it didn't shake her resolve. Doing. The moment the word left her lips, she made her move, a direct hit. I was speechless. Since when did the plot allow for this? Looking at her bloodshot eyes and the tears at the corners of her lids, I could only stay silent as a strange thought crossed my mind. In less than 3 minutes, Luna rolled off me, a dazed look in her eyes as she spoke with dissatisfaction. So, you're only a 3-minute man? I'll have to tell Serafina about this. That's not it. My face turned beet red as I whispered a reminder. Men have a first time too, you know. Luna's eyes lit up. She gave me a quick kiss and laughed. It felt as if the dark room had instantly been flooded with light. Then we're even. Thanks for helping me save my money. I wanted to cry, but had no tears left. Can she really count it like that? Take the chains off. Next time, it's my turn to take the lead. Luna thought about it. Well, since we've already done it, if you dare to run, I'll break your legs. Despite her words, she insisted on staying on top. I am Luna. I want to be in control. I was curious, but I already knew Luna was never happy unless she was the one in charge. She would never take the submissive position. I had to coax her. I get it, Your Majesty. Later, I'll teach you a few unique positions. They're very comfortable. Truly comfortable. I thought you said it was your first time. They're definitely comfortable. It's my first time in practice, but I've had teachers, Japanese teachers. Fine, but if it's not comfortable, I'm going back on top. This time, Luna complied, and we rested for 10 minutes. I asked her what the real reason for all of this was. That was when I realized I had dug this hole for myself. Luna was sick, psychologically sick, and I was her only star. Because of that live stream, and because of Julian, Luna had developed a physical repulsion toward the touch of men. She had seen several psychiatrists this week, and the consensus was that a psychological ailment required psychological medicine. I was her antidote. She didn't reject my touch, and she didn't find my body disgusting. As for why she decided to pick the mushroom today, the fault still lay with me. Who told the entire seaside city elite that Luna was pregnant? Even though it was a lie, everyone wanted to turn that lie into the truth. Her father, the chairman of the Luna Group, her mother, the shareholders, and the business partners. There were too many of them. This was the power of a rumor repeated 3 times becomes the truth. Luna was helpless. Of course, she could tell the truth, but the Luna Group's stock would plummet. In these turbulent times, she didn't dare gamble. She knew one thing for certain. Without the Luna Group, her end would be catastrophic. Furthermore, Luna admitted flat out that she did have feelings for me. She just didn't know how deep they went. People in high society are often like this. They don't understand what love is, nor do they know how to give it. Regardless, she told me she only wanted to have my children. 2 of them. One to carry the Luna surname and one to carry mine. Hearing that, I had no complaints. I take this job. Who cares what love is? Marriage is the longest confession of all. A thought flickered in my mind. I could help treat Luna's condition, but I couldn't cure her hatred for other men, which was actually fine by me. It's just that she seemed to have transformed into a Yandere. While a Yandere won't cheat, she certainly won't let me stray, either. Could I endure a lifetime of this? Round 2. Come here, she commanded. Unlock the chains, but kiss me for 10 minutes first. We need to do this often. Today is my conception window. What else could I say? There is only one word to describe my actions: compliance. For 3 days, the 2 of us barely stepped foot outside the villa. Luna looked visibly refreshed, her complexion glowing and her body no longer frail. On the 4th day, she returned to the office. The employees were gossiping, everyone saying the CEO had undergone a massive change, as if she'd taken some miracle tonic. On that same 4th day, I finally crawled out of the villa. My legs were trembling so badly a light breeze could have knocked me over, and my dark circles were so deep even a panda would admit defeat. But I had to get to the recording studio. I couldn't neglect my career. Meanwhile, Luna was facing a major crisis. She received a package sent by Julian. Speaking of Julian, he hadn't been idle this week, despite being blocked on every possible front. Phone, social media, email, and even local couriers. He couldn't even breach the 100-meter no-man zone to see her in person. Left with no choice, he had to have someone deliver documents to Luna under the guise of business matters. He had handwritten several letters with no response. Finally, driven to a dead end, he dropped the devoted lover act and showed his true colors. He threatened Luna with 2 files. The first file detailed how a real estate subsidiary of the Luna Group, during the development of Azure District Plot Number 2 5 years ago, had intentionally destroyed and buried underground cultural relics. The second file concerned the District Number 3 project in Fairview City, alleging that the Luna Group had falsified the land toxicity and safety inspection reports. Luna held these 2 files and fell into a deep, silent contemplation for half the day. Julian's threat was as ridiculous as it was revolting. He no longer demanded that she divorce me. Instead, he demanded she bear his child. Julian knew that Luna gagged at the mere sight or sound of him, so he guessed she had discovered his filthy secrets. Therefore, he only wanted a child. With a child, he would have a legal reason to infiltrate the Luna Group. From there, he could detonate more internal scandals, tank the stock price, short the company, buy it out, and restructure it until the Luna empire crumbled. And once the Julian family devours the Luna Group, I will be the undisputed #1 power in Seaside City. By then, even if I come out of the closet, who would dare mock me? Their plan was airtight, but their progress was slow. Luna had received Julian's letter 3 days ago and hadn't replied. Today was the deadline. In a study of the old Luna estate, sat the patriarch Grandpa Lou, Luna herself, her mother, Serafina, and of course me, playing my supporting role. In the past, I never had the standing to attend these family meetings, but this time Luna insisted. She called me a core family member, the pillar of the household, and the future father of her child. Seeing her respect me like this, I play my part well. Her parents, likely having heard of my recent exploits, had completely changed their tune, treating me with the warmth of a biological son. Since things had come to this, I decided to stop hiding my light and show them my true value. Dad, Mom, Luna, and Serafina, I began firing a warning shot first. What I'm about to say is confidential. It's information I paid a heavy price for. It's guaranteed to be true, but feel free to verify it yourselves. I took a breath and dove in. Dad, your special assistant has been back with your mistress number 5 for 5 years now. That mistress used to serve the Vance family here in the city. Father Lou stood up, disbelief etched on his face, ready to argue. I held up a hand to stop him. I'm not finished. Uncle Leo and the company is preparing to sell his 5% stake at the next board meeting. Executives Zhao, Yates, and Field are wavering and will likely follow suit. On the stock market, someone is already aggressively shorting the Luna Group. I took a sip of tea, waiting for Father Lou to make some calls to verify my claims. A few phone calls later, his face turned as dark as ink, his entire body trembling. I continued. The authorities are about to receive a whistleblowing report against the company. It names you, Luna, and Mom. Luna's mother gasped in horror. I've been retired for 10 years. How could I be involved? Nothing too serious. I comforted her. It's just that over the years, you've been paying off your brother's gambling debts and acting as his guarantor. The sums have become massive. You should prepare yourself mentally. She collapsed back in her chair, stunned. Father Lou, a veteran of the business world, waved his hand. Keep going. Relying on my memory of the original plot, I laid out the entire sequence of the Luna Group's bankruptcy. As they listened, they realized there were countless internal leaks they were completely blind to. Luna was covered in a cold sweat. Husband, how much did you spend on this intel? Once the company survives this crisis, I'll pay you back double. I smiled. Whoever said talking about money hurts feelings was clearly lying. Father Lou finally regained his composure. Now that we know their tactics, we can strike first. The roles have flipped. They are in the light, and we are in the dark. Silas, you have a brilliant business mind. Come work at the company. I'm appointing you executive vice president. I smiled and declined. I knew my limits better than anyone. If I hadn't transmigrated with knowledge of the plot, I would be just an ordinary man. Dad, I won't join the company, and I don't need the shares. I have something else I love to do. Luna supported me immediately. My little Yandra was now the #1 fan on my follower list. Dad, my husband can compose and sing. He's going to be an international star. Making him join the company would be a waste of talent. Serafina chimed in, exactly, uncle. I'm actually planning to buy an entertainment agency just to sign him. Luna's possessive side flared up instantly. He's my husband. I'll buy him an agency myself. Serafina wouldn't back down. What do you know about show business? Do you have time to follow him around? I'm looking out for him for you, and you're being ungrateful. Besides, look at how drained you are. Can you even last 10 minutes? Luna lost that round. She gritted her teeth and looked at me. You aren't allowed to flirt with her. Serafina scoffed, and I didn't dare say a word. Father Lou sipped his tea, while Luna's mother lit a celebratory cigarette for me. Half a month later, the war between the Luna group, the Julian family, and the Hearst family ended. The Luna group emerged with a Pyrrhic victory, but their core strength remained, and they quickly began devouring the spoils of war. Julian, who once acted so untouchable in front of me, was now behind bars in a detention center. On a slow day, Serafina and I went to visit him. Given his crimes, he was likely facing life in prison. Did you two come here just to mock me? Isn't that fun? Julian spat. Serafina gave him a sharp look. I want to see exactly when you draw your last breath. And I'll make sure everyone in our circle sees how pathetic you look as a warning. I grinned and pulled out my phone. Julian, don't you want to know why Luna vomits the moment she sees you? Take a look at your masterpiece. As the video played, the revolting scenes made Julian look as if he were losing his mind. His expression turned vacant for a moment. Did you set this up? I smiled. I was the mastermind, but Luna was the financier. Julian turned even paler. Then our plan? I replied with mock respect. My father-in-law is a brilliant man. Julian lost all will to speak and demanded the visit end. Before leaving, his hateful gaze was like a knife. Silas, we'll fight again in the next life. I flinched. Fight all you want, but be specific about what kind of fight you mean next time. Half a month later, a scream of surprise erupted from the bathroom. I rushed in, thinking something had happened to Luna, only to find her holding a pregnancy test, looking ecstatic. Husband, look, 2 lines. I knew exactly what those lines meant. I scooped her up in my arms. I had been taking care of her every day lately. She had filled out, becoming softer and more fragrant than ever. Luna snuggled into my chest. Husband, I can't sleep in the same room as you for the next 3 months. She acted spoiled. I'm afraid I won't be able to control myself. I patted her gently. I'll wait with you. Luna's eyes turned a deep, shimmering red. Thank you, husband. Early the next morning, I woke up to a familiar scene. My limbs were shackled to the bed. Luna lifted her head, looking innocent and pure. Husband, if I keep you like this, I don't have to worry about you cheating anymore. I sighed helplessly. This was the only downside of Yandra. Looking back, I almost regretted buying that live stream, but then again, I was glad I did. Unfortunately, life doesn't give you a second chance to choose. Cherishing the present is the greatest happiness of all.